What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Gaming with the Broscast, episode 252. My name is Harrison. I am joined by my brother Nick. As always, Nick,
what's up?
How you doing? We've got a lot of games coming out right now. It's a great time if you're an RPG lover.
It's a pretty peak time right now. Like I feel like every day I'm either playing Avowed or Kingdom Come Deliverance.
I feel bad because I love Kingdom Come. Dude, Henry is such a cool, funny character. I love his accent. The voice acting is incredible in that game. And the things that happen in that game are
just so many antics and hijinks that kind of happen to Henry.
Yeah, exactly. It's so good. But I ended up booting up Avowed yesterday. And I was like, I'm gonna play the opening act and just see how it is. And then it was like $7 later. So it's pretty good.
Kind of what happened to me too.
But before we dive into that, and Nick, you've played Nightreign.
Yes.
A little bit. Good and bad things, but we'll talk about that here in a second. Nick, how was your week?
It was good. I mean, pretty chill weekend. Cooked some steaks and mashed potatoes on Friday for Valentine's Day.
Hell yeah.
Did a oh my god, what's it called? Type of steak? The
ribeye?
No, it's the one that's hard. The thick one that's hard to cook. Oh my gosh. Okay, I gotta look this up because it's gonna drive me nuts. Not ribeye. Filet mignon.
Filet mignon. Okay.
Yeah.
That's
bought that. Looked up a couple videos on how to cook it. You're supposed to sear it on both sides and then
pan sear it with butter and
butter.
Thyme.
It's supposed to put thyme or rosemary. Yeah. I didn't have any on me, so I just did some butter and some garlic.
Yeah,
and then put it in the oven to finish it off. And that took a while. It took longer than I thought it was going to take.
It does.
And I took it out the first time when we cut into it, and it was pretty red. It was rare. So put it in for
almost blue.
So put it in for another 10 minutes and then took it back out, and it was kind of overcooked a little bit. So
once you cut into it, it's game over because it's going to cook so easily.
Right. It still turned out great. I still like a sirloin better because I like the fat.
Well, sirloins are the non-fatty ones.
No, sirloins have fat. I mean, less fat than a ribeye, but they still have a little bit of fat.
I guess filet mignons are pretty lean, right?
Yeah, because it's a center cut, so there's no fat on it, really.
I think ribeye is my favorite type of steak. I don't eat it all the time, because Brittany, my wife, she doesn't like ribeye. She just like regular sirloins, so we don't eat it all the time. But when I do, it's always good. But I haven't done a ton. I think I've maybe cooked a steak like that once or twice. But you're right. It just kind of just takes forever, and it's
forever, and it's not.
And if you don't do it professionally, it's hard to judge. It's difficult.
But it was fun.
Yeah.
And then Saturday we had reservations for this seafood place, and we were on the way, and Alicia was like, "I'm not feeling super great," and I wasn't feeling great. As well, and we had another place for lunch. I think that's what was kind of causing our stomach issues. So we got to the seafood restaurant, and we were sitting there in the parking lot, and we're like, it doesn't sound great right now. The thought of eating seafood when
seafood is not.
It's just not what you want to eat. So we pivoted and went somewhere else and had bruschetta and salad and that kind of stuff. And it was really good. But when your stomach's hurting, the last thing you want to have is seafood and shrimp and
that's funny. We actually went to a Full Moon. It's a local, where it's at. Got some oysters, man. Got some good crab dip. Had some good beer. Yeah, it was a good time.
You guys went Saturday or Friday?
We went Friday. We went out after. So household stuff. Dishwasher. We replaced our dishwasher a year and some change ago. And our cabinetry is not very good. and the new dishwasher did not fit perfectly in there. Well, it fits nicely, but it's, I don't know, the ground is cracked. Whoever owned our house before us
did some just damage.
big old pieces of garb. So yeah, I had to rewire that. Well, I had to turn the power off, rewire it. So I fixed that. It's pretty easy. And then our sink, one of the compartments, the one that kind of goes into the main line, the metal in the pipe corroded, so it was starting to leak water. So broke that off. Went to Home Depot, got some PVC, redid it. Pretty easy. It wasn't too difficult.
Nice.
I did that, and then I was doing that till like 7:30 Friday. And I was like, man, I was getting kind of annoyed because like I was, I wanted to get out of the house a little bit earlier just because it was Valentine's Day. But either way, that place is so small that even if you go on a regular Tuesday night, you're still going to wait 30 minutes. I think we ended up waiting like 35, 40 minutes, which is fine.
It's not bad for Valentine's Day.
Yeah, exactly. And they don't do reservations either. It's just kind of come first,
first come, first serve.
So got in there, had a couple beers before we sat down. And then we sat down, and those oysters were delicious.
Just locked in.
Yeah, just locked in.
Man, I wish I would have had some mussels this weekend, but
yeah,
wasn't in the stars, and that's okay.
Yeah, and especially like oysters and mussels and scallops and stuff, not the best thing you want to eat if you're not feeling super great.
Yeah. Yep. I did get to spend about 4 hours at Lexus dealership waiting to get the battery replaced on my wife's car. Because I told you last weekend when we went camping, it had died.
Yeah. It took 4 hours to replace the battery?
Yeah, I mean, they were pretty busy, and they had to figure out what was wrong with it first because they didn't know for sure. I told them that it wouldn't start without a jump.
Yeah.
So I was like, leave it on. Like, don't turn it off. But they're like, okay, like we're gonna make sure it's not, anything else, any like some sort of like battery drainage issue or something. It's like, something. Starter or something pulling the draining the battery. But yeah, man, it took forever. And there was someone that had gotten there before me. I got there like 10. They had gotten there like 8 or something like that. And they were still waiting by the time I had left.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. And she seemed pretty pissed too. So, I mean, I would be too, but.
Yeah, I hate any of that stuff. Like, just, yeah.
It just always takes longer than you think it's going to.
Yeah.
But it worked out. The car runs great now. I don't think the battery on that car has ever been replaced, and it's a 2011.
Okay.
So I was talking to the mechanic, and he was like, man, if this thing is as old as like we think it is, then you got some damn good mileage out of it. Like,
yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah, because batteries apparently are only supposed to last like up to 5 years, but this one,
yeah, give or take.
Yeah.
Well, I took the truck to just get like an oil change, and they're like, hey, your batteries are like 16%. We recommend you change it. They're like, we do it in here now. I'm like, yeah, I bet you do. And then I was like, we changed this battery like 2 years ago. And then we ended up taking it to another place to get it checked out. And it was like at 100%. So I don't know what the heck they were doing.
What the hell?
Yeah. So
straight up lying to you.
Yeah, I'm not going to go. I don't know. It seemed like they don't have it all together at the place where we were going to. And maybe they just didn't have like the connectors on the battery. I don't know. Either way, I knew something was like fishy. I was like, we just replaced this thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like when they bring out the air filter, did they bring out the battery and put some crumbs on it or some dust on it? Like, it's had some wear and tear on it.
It's wear and tear. I'm like, I don't even drive this truck that much. I work from home. So I was like, it's definitely not the battery. There's nothing wrong with it. But yeah, had a great weekend.
Nice.
Daughter Kaylee, she had like she's doing soccer again this year, and they had like a preseason like soccer scrimmage, but it was on Saturday, and it was like freezing rain. They didn't cancel it. Yeah, it was not a great time. It was a lot of going back into the truck and then coming back out and then doing that stuff.
Dang.
But
did they win at least?
I don't think they won any games, but it didn't count. They were just trying to get an idea of like how the team was and like, you know, where they needed to improve and that kind of stuff. Like figure out who the starters were going to be. But yeah, it was pretty miserable, and I wasn't even outside all that much, so I can't imagine how they felt.
Yeah, being on the field.
But yeah, great weekend. Nick, where do you want to start? I mean, Kingdom Come. I'm like I played a lot more since last week. I'm still enjoying it. I still haven't done the wedding scene yet. I've just been doing so much of the side quest. It's been so fun, just traversing the interlands as Henry.
It's such a stupid game because I did the wedding, and I got to the next part, and it kind of like funnels you into the main story for a little bit, so you can't really leave. And I was getting so frustrated because you have to like almost do this sequence of things without like getting caught and without messing up on a couple of, I'm trying not to be too spoilery, but a couple of things you have to do, trying not to mess up on them. And like the saving isn't great, and you don't have any savior schnapps on you at the time. So I probably spent like 4 hours trying to do this thing that like from front to end only takes about 20 minutes, but I just kept failing, and I kept trying to do it right.
Yeah.
And so I was like pretty frustrated with the game. And then after I got past that part and got to the next story beat, I was like, this game is fucking great, dude. This game
is this after the wedding part that
after
you're
the
talking
wedding.
About? Okay.
Yeah.
I'll have to keep that in mind then.
And then like I did that the next story bit and got to a point, and the game tells me, hey, this is a pivotal moment. You're not going to be able to access the open world for a little bit.
Okay.
At this point. So I was like, okay, I'm going to go do some side stuff.
Yeah.
So, went and found the Cumans and drank with them. That was so fun. And like being hungover the next morning.
My character was hungover for like 5 days. Like I was in shambles. It was awful. Like, cause in this like in the game, like you get drunk or whatever, and then you sleep it off. Yeah. But then you still like you're like woozy and like the screen's all foggy. Like it was after like 3 days of saving, I was like, okay, this is a little bit too much.
Mine was a day.
I will say that like this game is great. There are definitely some frustrating things about it. Like so there was the cumin, like after you do the cumin and you wake up the next day. I woke up like real early in the morning, and I was like, oh, maybe my character just needs to sleep it off some more. So I slept in the same bed that I slept in the night before, but then I got counted as trespassing, and then they wanted to fight me and take my money. And so I'm like, I don't like this. So that's a little frustrating, but yeah. And then there's this one, it's part of the Cumans. Like there's a quest where the daughter went missing. Did you do that one?
No, I haven't.
And you have to go. So I'm not going to spoil anything, but she gets captured essentially. And I tried, and like the guy had taken her up into like these cliffs, like in this little cave area, and had her at knife point. And I walked up and I was like, trying to talk it way out of it. And he's like, nah, and he just like slit her throat. It had saved right before, luckily. So before that, I grabbed my bow and I like aimed it at her. I aimed it at him, and he's like, what are you doing? And then I shot it, and I shot her and killed her by accident. Like, so then I reloaded. Yeah. And then after like 3 or 4 tries, finally I just
got him,
hit him perfectly in the face and killed him, and then saved the damsel in distress. But God, this game is, man, it's so fun.
It's really funny. Have you done the mission where you're supposed to steal the maypole from Takov, the place with the blacksmith?
No, I haven't done that one.
There's just like, and I'll try to get too spoiler. I just want to get to this one specific part, but there's this like whole rivalry between these two towns, essentially, and they're like playing pranks on each other.
Okay,
and they send you over there to steal like this flag, essentially, and then they send you back later to let the sheep out. and like, let them off like out of the pasture. And
that sounds so fun.
And to do that, there's like a shepherd there, like the guy's son that's watching all over the sheep, and you have this like poison that you can put in his food, so he gets it's like a laxative poison pretty much, and so you put it in, he drinks it, and then he like goes away, and I was letting the sheep out, and I guess I was taking too long, and he ends up coming back out. And he's like, what? And I was supposed to do this like without getting caught or anything like that. And he comes back out. He's like, what are you doing? He starts fighting me. So I just punch him and knock him out, and just like finish letting the sheep out. And then I finish the mission, and everything concludes, and I go back to the town. And of course, like the guards come up to me immediately. It's like, you are wanted for like letting sheep out, for punching someone in the face, and all this stuff.
That's
so
funny you remembered.
I didn't have any money to pay it. So I just got a game over. So I just have to wait until they forget about me or something. I don't know. I think they forget about the crimes you've committed after a few days.
Okay.
But yeah, just
That's funny.
Things like catch up to you. Like you punch someone in one town, you leave, then you come back, and they still remember it for whatever reason.
Never forget your shenanigans. That's funny.
Yeah, there's been some fun moments.
Yeah, this game is really special. It really is.
And I do love the leveling system in this game, where you level up by doing stuff. And
it's pretty similar to like Skyrim and like the Elder Scrolls games, because like every time you're doing stuff in like Elder Scrolls, you're leveling up, like whether you're sneaking around or whatever the case is.
Yeah.
So it's very similar, but man, between this and Avowed, Elder Scrolls is really going to have to step their game up. Because we talked about it before, but they just cannot do another same old kind of just soulless.
You can't have another Starfield.
No, and that's the thing with Starfield. It's like I like that world, but like with Avowed, there's literally everything. There's something to find everywhere. There's a little context clues everywhere. There's like, I don't know, for even like the little things of like, there's a bear, a dead bear, and there's like bodies around it. And then, even the characters will be like, oh, that's, I wonder who died first, the bear or the people or something like that.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know. Yeah. Starfield felt a little bit soulless to me.
And I think it was the procedural generation.
Yeah.
On a lot of it. Like,
but there was no just getting lost in the game.
No, because you land on a planet and you go to the point of interest and then you leave. And there's no exploration in that game. There's looking around facilities, which they all look the same. But man, Starfield doesn't hold up super well. I don't know if I would want to go back to it like I would with something like Skyrim.
Yeah, and like, don't get me wrong, like Skyrim and Oblivion like are those types of games like Avowed is, that where you can get lost in the world and kind of just travel everywhere, and there's always something to find. But I don't know, it feels a little, Avowed just feels really modern, of course.
Yeah,
with its combat and the dialogue options, and not that just dead face pan to the character. Like it's, that's
Well, do you want to dive into Avowed?
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Okay.
So I'm about 7 hours in maybe right now. I'm still in the first area, so it's not necessarily an open world. It's like open zone kind of game, but it's still like a pretty massive area. Yeah, it's still a pretty big area. But yeah, I mean, where do you want to start? It's pretty good so far.
I want to start by saying like playing this next to Kingdom Come is so interesting, because Kingdom Come, like they're both obviously they're both RPGs. Kingdom Come is definitely more on the immersive side.
Yeah.
Or on the you can't, like you can get in trouble for stealing. You can get in trouble for like wearing something stolen around someone who you stole it from. Like people remember things. Like there's
it is kind of refreshing just walking into like someone's home and just like steal stuff right in front of them and they say nothing.
It's like refreshing. Avowed doesn't have any sort of crime system.
No.
And I think
can you even murder NPCs?
I don't think you can.
I haven't tried, but
there's not like a warrant system, so I don't think. Yeah. But I think like the thing that Avowed does right is because it has these like compact zones, and I say compact in it's a big zone, so it's not small or anything, but like everything is a point of interest. Everything has a reward, whether it's a chest, whether it's, dialogue or exposition or story stuff, which like I'm not reading all those books that I find.
No.
But that's cool they're there. I know the Pillars universe is huge. But Avowed just like really nails the exploration.
Yeah.
And it's something I find so refreshing.
Yeah, and I love like because you'll come across like shacks and homes and stuff. And a lot of times you need like a key, but most of the time there's always a secret entrance, whether you have to like bomb like a broken wall or you can find your way onto the roof. Like it's very it's very cool in that regard. Like just endless options. I mean, just it really is just one of those games where if there's like something, if there's like man, maybe I can get up there. Oh, I can. Here's a purple chest or whatever. Have you gone to the area? I think it's more to like the northeast side, I believe. But it's like the cave you go into, and it's like the shrine that guy is like building this statue. Have you done that mission
with skeletons?
There are skeletons, yeah. You're trying to find like the missing expedition party.
Yeah,
something like that. Like I know it's a relatively big side quest.
Yeah. That's a really good one.
Yeah, but that one I just kind of stumbled upon. Like I was just kind of, looting and stuff like that, and then all of a sudden I ran into a person or ran into two people, and then they're like, "Oh yeah, there's this
whole
sanctuary or something over here." He's like, "I want to go."
Did you finish it out? Did you make a choice at the end?
I did. Yeah, I yeah.
Okay.
The crimes were committed. I had to do it.
Had to be done. Oh, yeah. I took the same thing.
Yeah. You get a sweet sword.
Yeah.
So what I mean there's like you can dual wield anything in this game to like double wands,
pistols.
Yeah. What's been your play your kind of play style of choice right now?
Right now I have this cool dagger called like the Summer Sheath or something. You get it somewhere in the Northeast.
Okay.
But I have a dagger and a pistol on one loadout, and then my other loadout I have a fire sword and a shield.
Yeah.
So
can you make loadouts and like swap them on the fly?
Yeah.
What? I didn't know.
You can have two loadouts.
Okay. Yeah, I need to do that because like that is like because I do have like the bow and arrow and like the thunder blast and stuff like that. So that is a little frustrating. Have to go into the menu every time. So yeah, I need to see how to do that.
You didn't see that in the menu? Like it has like
that was probably just clicking buttons. I don't get that.
Just click it through. Just mindless clicking. Oh, this number is bigger. Put that here.
Put that. Yeah, the numbers go up.
Yeah. So that's what I've been rocking. I started using the wands at the beginning, and then I was using the bow and arrow too, and I switched up to the dagger because I don't know. I found a really good one, but I do want to switch back to wands because
really
and the Grimoire book too.
Yeah,
because that's
walk around with your little book because the wands you can just do like the projectile wand or whatever. But yeah, if you have the Grimoire book, you can then still do the wand, but then you can actually do like the fire magic and stuff like that. So I'm kind of rocking, like my scenario is like when I come up on like a group of enemies, I'll use the electrical blast where it'll like hit an enemy and then it'll ricochet and hit a bunch of different enemies. That's kind of like my go-to starting for whenever I'm attacking. But yeah, the combat is fun, man. Like I did not expect. I mean, I really thought it was just going to be just the dumb waggle Oblivion style.
Like the sword is making any impact or anything. Like it feels impactful.
Yeah, and like the movement with like the dodge mechanic and stuff like that. Like it's a pretty intricate combat system. So yeah, I think that's definitely what sets it apart from like a standard like Elder Scrolls game.
Yeah, I mean, like a part of me wishes that it like you could level up. I guess this isn't really even in the game, but like similar to Kingdom Come or Skyrim, where like you level up something by doing it. But that's not really how like the skill tree works. You kind of pick you pick a route and you take that, whether it's the ranger or the wizard or the fighter, and you can respec whenever you want.
Yeah,
a few $100 or Groschel or whatever it is.
Yeah,
I think Groschel is Kingdom Come.
I think so. Yeah,
whatever the currency is in Avowed.
Yeah.
But it's cool. I'm really enjoying it. I'm in the second area now, and I think I did everything in the first area, but I'm in the second one, and visually, I don't like it as much as the first one, just because it's more drab, it's more purple, it's got like this like purple overgrowth.
Gotcha.
The Dream Scorch has like taken over the like the ecology, so it's everything just kind of looks darker, and I just loved the first area visually.
Yeah.
Like so beautiful with the water.
Is it 60 FPS in performance mode?
Yeah.
Okay. Because it runs great, and that was the big old hiccup, back in, the developers couldn't quite confirm if it was going to be ready or not, and whatever. I mean, you could. I mean, in this day and age, where the game is so graphically intense, like you can definitely feel the 30 and 60. Before, like on the 360. I mean, Gears ran at 30. Like you couldn't. I mean, you could probably tell if you were looking for it, but it didn't feel wrong. And then like the newer games, it just doesn't feel right. Like I immediately have to switch it to performance mode. Like almost instantly.
Like I feel like the TVs back then, right? Like they accommodated 30 FPS better because things weren't like things just didn't run at 60 back then. So like TVs didn't have refresh rates that were that high.
Exactly.
So it felt better back then, but it's they have a 60 FPS, a 40, and a 30 on the Series X, and then I have been playing the Series S as well.
Okay.
And that one only has 30 FPS.
Okay.
Or it's 40, and they just don't give you an option. But I think it's just like the 30 FPS mode.
And it runs pretty good on the S.
Yeah, it runs pretty good. I had to play around with like the dead zone.
Yeah.
Settings for the controller for the camera, but otherwise it runs pretty well.
Sweet. Yeah, I mean this game. I mean, like you said, I mean we're in a great time for RPGs. So highly recommended. It's on Game Pass too. So I mean, why not?
It's early. What is it? Early access on Game Pass right now, and then tomorrow on Tuesday it'll come. The Game Pass full stop. So we paid to play it early, but it's like $20. I'd say it was worth it.
Yeah, it's good. It's really good. I mean, if you like the Elder Scrolls games, I think you'll absolutely like this. It's faster. It's more.
It's like more
like a first person. Yeah, more streamlined. Just very quick game. So that's fun. So yeah, I'm sure we'll be talking about it here in the next coming weeks, just like Kingdom Come. But Nick, tell me about your experience with Nightreign.
Oh boy. All right, so I'll
disappointing, it sounds like.
Yeah, so I'll caveat it. I played on the Series X. I played session 1 on Friday. I played a session on Saturday, and then I played another session in the morning on Sunday. So I played across 3 different sessions. I know the first one had a lot of network issues on the PS5. I think people couldn't even get into the game itself.
Well, PS5, I think over what was it last weekend, they had like a big outage as well.
Yeah, the weekend prior.
Yeah.
So they've been having some issues.
Had some trouble.
I dropped into 20 plus games, and on every single one I disconnected and I got booted out back to the main screen. And that happening is almost worse than not being able to play at all, because the game is fun. Like I really enjoyed what I had played, but every time I had a cool moment, like where we cooperated and took down a boss or whatever, I got kicked back to the main screen. I was like, well, that was all for nothing. And yes, that's I mean, that's the entire point of this network test, is to make sure that they have a strong enough network to be able to handle all these people playing the game. So with that being said, I didn't experience like the final boss. I got to day 2 one time. I was able to fight like the night 1 boss, like the big boss on the first night, and that was the centipede demon from Dark Souls 1.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So it was a really cool fight. Like it was stomping around. We had a good team. So it was really fun. And then I fought like the Godskin, like one of the Godskin duo people in the overworld.
Oh god,
and,
that's cool.
yeah. And a couple of other overworld bosses. So I had a really great time with it. And I played as the 3 characters. I didn't play as the mage. I played as the other 3. My favorite one was the Duchess.
Okay.
And the Duchess is like a very quick character, very dex focused. But her ability is, and I'm sure you've heard about it from like Kind of Funny or whatever.
Yeah.
But the ability is like you do damage and then you get to redo that damage essentially. So you like activate your ability and it like redoes the past 1.5 seconds of damage. So if you get a crit or like a big attack, you can redo it. So
that's sweet.
I felt like it's kind of a support class.
Yeah.
Playing as this character where like, oh, you just like stabbed him in the back. I can reinflict that damage.
Also, you can reinflict damage that somebody else did.
Yeah, it's just whatever damage was taken by the enemy is reinflicted.
That's pretty sweet. Okay, that's awesome.
Yeah,
man, that's it's more like involved than I thought it was going to be.
Mm-hmm.
As far as like the classes teaming up together. Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, they synergize really well because the one you start as, I can't remember what it's called, like the wielder or something like that. It's just like your standard, like standard strength build.
Yeah,
whatever have you.
Is it like, as far as like the gameplay goes, is it same? Is it Elden Ring? Just
it's pretty similar. You have, I mean, your sprint is on L3 now.
Yeah.
So you can sprint faster. You can scramble up walls. So you can jump and your character will like run up the wall for a little bit. So you just generally you can get around much quicker than you could.
Yeah. And there's no fall damage, right?
No fall damage.
That's cool.
And there's like these like wind tunnels in the game that you can jump, like kind of like the ones you jumped in with Torrent, but you can jump in with just your person. And you either like just jump in the air and go really far, or you can like do another one and activate your Spectral Hawk, which is like your glider or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And you can activate that. So
where are we landing, boys?
I mean, kind of though, like all the rounds I played, it's all on like one set map. And I know in the full game, the map will change every time.
Yeah.
It's like procedurally generated. But yeah, I kind of felt like where we drop, even though it drops you in one spot, like you don't really get to choose. It's kind of
you don't get to choose where you go.
No, it just kind of like takes you in. And maybe the full game is different, but yeah, we couldn't really choose where we dropped in.
Gotcha.
But it does feel like Fortnite with like with the flames closing in around you and like, oh god, I'm in the storm. I got to run out of it. And you like take chip damage when you're in the storm. So I don't know. Like I'm excited to actually play it. I feel like I didn't come out of this experience with any new information or like new opinions on it because I only got through the first day and first night one time.
Yeah.
But
I guess that's what these things are for. So
yeah,
you're making the good job. You're making the experience better by not having a good time.
I feel like I'm like free labor.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. So I can't say like I'm super confident in the full game because I'm worried that I'm just going to experience these network issues. And I don't know if it's like if one person disconnects and the whole game is canceled. I think
that would suck.
But I really hope that's not the case because you should give people like a grace period to jump back in to a game if they disconnect.
Yeah, or just like turn that player into an NPC or something.
Yeah. Or just allow for 2 people to play.
Yeah.
And scale it somewhere between having 1 person and having 3 people.
Yeah.
In the middle. And speaking of because it does have solo play. I wasn't able to test that. Obviously, they wanted to test the game with other people.
Yeah.
So I wasn't able to test that. I wish I would have been able to, just to, see the game more. But from like the consensus that I've read online between people who have actually been able to play through the network test and got through the final boss, sounds great.
Yeah.
Like it sounds like,
yeah, it sounds really fun. Like hopefully they can work out the kinks and get it ready for launch. Because I mean, if they're having issues with just a limited amount of people, like this game is going to sell really, really well.
Mhm.
So we'll see. Hopefully they got it ready to go.
I just don't know if they have great servers.
Yeah.
I don't know if they've ever had to invest in that, because of the entire player base of Elden Ring and of Dark Souls and Bloodborne, how many people were using the the invade system?
Yeah,
Like,
I mean,
they
I think
haven't
they have
had
decent
to.
people, but yeah, it's not in the millions or anything like that. I would highly doubt it, but
Yeah.
hopefully they can get it sorted out, because it sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, it's really cool, and to dive into it a little bit more, like you drop in, you all share a pool of souls or of runes. So if someone kills an enemy far away, you still get the runes for it, and you can use those to level up. And you just like
Yeah.
run to a site of grace, you activate it, and then the leveling is streamlined. You just press the button to level up, and you level up.
The leveling, I would imagine, happens pretty quickly.
Oh yeah. I think the longest round I'd played, I was up to like level 10 or something like that, which is pretty good for like 10 to 15 minutes of playtime. And then if you die and you're not revived by one of your teammates, which you can revive someone by just like attacking them, and they come back to life. So
I heard you can like shoot them with the arrow as long as you hit them.
As long as you hit them, yeah.
That's cool.
But if you don't, and they die, and you respawn at a grace point, you lose a level. So you go down one level.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah. And then you can you lose all your runes too that you had in your hand, but you can go back and retrieve them at your body too. So that's kind of like how Elden Ring and other Souls game plays.
Do they have like messages or anything like that you could leave behind? Probably not in something like this.
No, not from what I saw.
Okay. I mean, that would make sense. I mean, if everything's procedurally generated, then that would make sense to have it. But
yeah. And then there are a bunch of overworld bosses out in the world that just like you run into, and their health bar appears, and when you defeat them, you basically get like a relic, or either a relic or a weapon, like a nice weapon. And a relic could be like, oh, you just output more damage or something like that, or I don't know. I didn't see that many like game-changing relics, but you do that for overworld bosses, and then you can do the same with like the night bosses, like the main ones at night. Like you defeat them, and then you get like an even better relic or something that changes your run.
Yeah. And then, so what are you keeping at the end of a run? I mean, obviously you didn't get to experience that, but is there anything that I know there's some items you get to keep or something like that to make you stronger in the long run.
Yeah, there's like some, I think they're relics of some sort, or like orbs or something that you can basically slot in at the beginning of a run, and it'll modify your damage or your attributes or something like that. So you collect those. I think they have like different rarities to them, different values to them. I don't even know if like that was something I could have experienced with this network test. I'm sure I could have.
Not. Yeah.
Like I saw the person that I could talk to, and I was able to open up the menu to see the relic slots. But obviously I didn't have any because I never actually completed a run.
Is it over, the network test?
Yeah, it's over at this point. But it's cool. Like you start in the round table hold, and you can run around there, and there's like a whole new area outside where you can practice your attacks. Like there's a couple of dummies out there that you can practice on. Then you start, and it like has this like whole cinematic where you and your you and your squad are walking out, and then you jump off
Call of
this
Duty
cliff.
style.
You kind of jump off the cliff, and then you get your spectral birds, and then you fly and drop in. So I mean, it's a really cool premise. It's only $40, so it's not a full price game. I'm excited for it.
That's cool.
Really
I mean, they got like an expansion coming at some point later on this year as well.
like more DLC.
Yeah. So they're going to be adding on to it.
I'm excited for what that could be. I hope they have like a
Bloodborne,
like a whole Bloodborne DLC, which
would
be crazy. That Xbox players could play
Bloodborne stuff.
Yeah,
that would be awesome.
Can fight against Father Gascoigne or.
Yeah, maybe they. I'm not gonna say it. Maybe they tie it in with like Bloodborne remake at the end of this year, but I've given up hope.
Nah, they need to do some other remasters. They could probably remaster Forbidden West.
Yeah,
it's been long enough.
Yeah, it's been 2 years, so yeah,
they could put another couple of hairs on Aloy's face and show the zoomed in comparison, just like they did with
the Mark Cerny.
What are they remaking or remastering now? Days Gone.
Yeah.
It's like I'm just seeing all these comparison photos between Days Gone and Days Gone Remastered. I'm like, this is the same fucking picture you're showing.
Yeah,
me.
it's just
there's no difference.
Yeah. Well, it's like that's the whole thing with like The Last of Us Part 1 or 2, whichever one. There was like they showed some stills of like Ellie, and it's like the original looks better. Like they did something with the lighting.
Yeah,
change it. I'm like, it looks. This is not a good showcase for what you're trying to show.
No,
but whatever. But awesome. Nightreign sounds awesome. Hopefully they can nail it and get the networking right. And it sounds like it's gonna be a good time.
Is there any Dark Souls boss that you're excited to fight against again? Any boss in particular that
I'm trying to think.
And my second question while you're thinking, will they have any like spoiler bosses from the Souls series, like the final boss of Dark Souls 3? Well, do you think they would put them in there?
Yeah, because I think they're so like without the context of knowing the story, I don't think it's going to spoil anything. Like,
and I guess like
if someone shows up like Lord of Cinder, it's like, okay, that's just a badass name. Like,
that's true.
It's like,
I guess that never really matters.
Yeah.
Like you see a leaked boss list of an upcoming FromSoft game. You're like, well, that means
like when shows up, like it's like, okay, like I don't know.
Yeah.
I would like to see what's the guy? Oh man. I was gonna say you fight him in a cathedral, but I mean, Jesus, it's like almost every boss.
In 2 or 3?
It's in Dark Souls 3. I would like to see the dancer.
Oh, Pontiff
Borealis. Pontiff Sullivan. Yeah, that one.
Fuck that guy. I would love to see him.
Yeah. He's a pretty cool boss fight. I don't know. Throw in like Ornstein and Smaug in there. Why not?
That would be really interesting with 3 people versus.
Oh yeah,
Ornstein and Smaug. Put the what is it, Seraph? The dog with the.
Oh yeah, that'd be really cool.
There's some good ones. I hope they had Pontiff Sullivan.
Yeah, that'd be pretty badass.
Yeah,
that'd be awesome.
Man, Dark Souls.
I need to go back and play Dark Souls. It's been a long time since I played Dark Souls 3.
You should play the DLC.
Yeah, I never played it.
It has some of the best bosses in that game.
I think I started is it the Ring City, the one with the ice one, and they had like the invisible enemies, and I was like, nah, I'm good.
Oh yeah, there's because I played one last year. I played the second one last year, but they have Ring City and then something else. Astoria. I can't remember what it's called.
Yeah, because the Nameless King is in this, right? And that's gonna be pretty awesome.
That's gonna be fun.
All right, well let's dive over into the news, which there's not. I mean, Kingdom Come, it announced they sold 2 million, which is really good for this game. I'm so happy for the devs that made it. So yeah, I think it's getting its flowers. And I think this could potentially fall on a lot of people's Game of the Year list, and maybe even be nominated for Game of the Year.
Oh yeah, I think it definitely could be.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah. Did you ever play the first one?
No, I didn't. I didn't know anything about Kingdom Come until I started watching the trailers. I'm like, man, this was really cool. So
maybe I'll go back and play it one day.
Yeah,
I think it's on Switch.
But we had the PlayStation Showcase last week.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Right. Oh, you and I streamed it. Now that we're a few days away from it, how do you feel about it?
I feel okay about it. I mean, there's a lot of cool stuff coming.
Yeah,
a lot of like action RPGs and Souls likes.
Yeah,
I was probably too hard on it the day of.
What? Okay, so here's my. So the very next day, they announced Astrobot DLC. Like, why wasn't that?
Not bad. Yeah,
why wasn't that in the showcase? Like, you're coming on like the game, like the game of the year for the TGAs, one of the best games of the year. A lot of people want more DLC, and it's free. And like, why? Like, it made no sense to me. And then like today, I think the Fair Games game got delayed. So I think it's really starting to show that this live service initiative that PlayStation tried, I think it's going to go down as one of the worst business decisions of all time with PlayStation. I think it just about wasted this generation for PlayStation for first party stuff.
When did they decide on this? What was it, around COVID?
Yeah, it was like kind of like, and to I guess not. I mean, I'll blame like PlayStation for this absolutely, but like numbers were so askewed during COVID because everyone's at home, like they want something to do, so like that that's when everyone was hiring up, and they're like, oh my god, like
it's gonna be like this forever.
It's gonna be like this forever. We've yeah, and then it's like, no, you're peaking right now, so
you're too late.
Yeah,
you're already too late.
Yeah,
by the time these games come out, people are gonna be burnt.
Yeah, so that's why now we're kind of seeing the ramifications of all the layoffs and stuff like that. Everyone already knows that anyways, but yeah, I just think they I don't want to say wasted it, because there's been a lot of good games, but it's been really carried by,
I would say, wasted
the third party stuff. And Xbox is no different. Like they've only really gotten started now, like the last year.
Yeah.
Finally getting started, and PlayStation has had some good stuff. They've had a lot of exclusives like Silent Hill 2 that are really good, but that's not first party, and I guess it doesn't matter as long as PlayStation is still selling and making money. It's fine. But yeah, I just feel like they could have been investing that money in just different projects that would have made more sense.
Yeah, I mean, we could have had. I don't know, like what we could have had in place of all these live service games, other than really good single player games that stand the test of time and that don't shut down after 2 weeks or shut down after a year. Yeah, week. Oh my god. So I would say like they pretty much wasted this generation first party wise. I mean, we had Spider-Man 2, that's great. We had Astrobot, that's killer. We had God of War Ragnarok, which came out on PS4.
Yep. So, and ran good. I played it on PS4. Like it ran just fine.
And like Ratchet and Clank, I mean, Insomniac's carrying the generation. We got Returnal, and that successor is coming out in 2026, right? So that's but not successor, but like their next game.
Yeah.
So I mean,
and for them to, and no diss to like Housemarque or anything like that, but for them to end the showcase on that, just kind of like solidifies like my opinion about this generation, and they just
well, because that's all they have.
Nothing. Yeah, they have nothing. They have nothing else. They have Wolverine, which we don't, we have no idea when that's coming out. Intergalactic, that's probably 2027, I would imagine. I mean, I don't see that coming out next year. So, yeah, just man.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, my eyes are on the Switch 2.
Yep.
Xbox and what they're doing.
I forget. I almost forgot that we've gotten that direct in April. Like it's like
there's
so much games right now.
Yeah.
To play.
But like, yeah, eyes on Switch 2, eyes on what Xbox is doing this year, because they're putting out a lot of really good games, and I guess whatever PlayStation is doing third party, whatever third party games are coming to PlayStation exclusively, but first party PlayStation,
they could have some surprises. I mean, we don't know. We didn't know about Astrobot last year, and that was one of the best games of the year. So I mean, we'll see. But yeah, it's just a little frustrating because like on top of them just wasting time and money, which not our company, so who cares what they do, but just wasting like development talent on these live service games that nobody wants. Like you have your top dogs, and that's just the way it's going to be. But then they want to throw out all these remasters that nobody is also asking for. So it's like, and I get it. You want to make up some revenue for spending all this money on these live service games, but the one remaster that people do want, come on, you know what I mean? It's very frustrating.
I understand Bloodborne is harder because you have to work with FromSoft to make it happen, or you have to get their permission to do it.
Yeah.
Days Gone, like that already had an upgrade.
Yeah.
On the PS, like it had like a.
And I looked it up, and because I was like, man, okay, what is going on? Like, why is this game getting remastered and Bloodborne like wasn't? Like I was starting to crash out a little bit. But yeah, this game sold more. It sold like 8 million copies or something like that. It sold a decent amount. And I think Bloodborne is like at 7, maybe something like that. So it's sold more. So like I get it, but
who's speaking fondly of Days Gone?
But like, and I think a lot of that had to do with just it being on sale. Like it was on sale pretty quickly after it came out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like PlayStation rejected a sequel to that game. So it's like, why? Like what?
Like why are you doing things like Until Dawn remastered and Days Gone remastered?
Yeah.
It's and maybe you're onto something with them trying to make up money for all of their failed live service games.
Because they're often the $10 upgrade. So like if you already have the game, you get the digital version for $10. So it's like it feels like a little bit of a cash grab. I don't know.
I don't know, man.
It's frustrating. Like, and I know, like, what's his name? Jim Ryan. Yeah, I just think him and like Herman Hulse, like loving Concord so much that they had to buy the studio, and like just like what, dude? Like I don't get it. Generational failure, just abysmal. Like, what are you doing? 8 years to make, just
for a multiplayer game.
Yeah,
I can't get over that. Like for a multiplayer game,
and like the signs were like the signs of that stuff. Like you can even look at Destiny. Like Destiny has significantly slowed down. The writing is on the wall with these single player-esque live service games. And I know this is not a single player game, but I don't know. Yeah, it's just baffling to me that someone would approve of that. And then you got Spider-Man that costs $400+ million, and all this other stuff that's just insanely expensive.
Yeah, I don't know what they're doing over there with how expensive these games are to make.
Yeah, and hopefully they'll just do more Astrobot, because I'm sure that game didn't cost a ton, like a fortune to make. Mm-hmm. We always joke it's like Luigi's Mansion 3 probably cost Nintendo at like
50
less
million.
than a fraction of what it cost, like not like Last of Us 2, and that sold more.
Yeah.
Like that's just how Nintendo works. But also they're not focused on high fidelity graphics and the little details of the hair on like that stuff is cool. I don't need it in every single game.
Right. And I'm sure that Nintendo games will take longer to develop on the Switch 2 because Switch 2 is more powerful. You have to take advantage of it. But still, I don't think it'll be comparable to PlayStation's.
No, it's never. I mean, it's never
costs.
gonna. Yeah, it's never gonna be like that high fidelity, but
or that high of cost from.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like,
Yeah. It'll never be that high. They'll never allow. I mean, there's so many games that and we don't know for sure, but like Fire Emblem, Genealogy of the Holy War. That's rumored to have been done for a while. Same thing with like Metroid Prime remaster when that came out. Like they just kind of sit on games and maybe wait until there's a lull in their schedule, and then they can kind of strategically place it in that month where there's no games. And that's the thing; they have a game every single month. It's insane the turnaround, the turnout that they have for those games. And they're all like
low effort
decent
stuff.
Yeah.
I mean,
Donkey Kong. Yeah, whatever.
Like, I think that's a bit of a cash grab.
Yeah, like a lot of these remasters definitely are, and they're full price too. So like, I mean, Nintendo's not at its fault with how they're. I mean, for Metroid Prime remastered to be $40 and Donkey Kong is $60,
that's crazy.
It's weird. It's just weird. But I don't know. Not in charge of their marketing, but
they do have it. They have it figured out where they have their big AAA games like Tears of the Kingdom, like Breath of the Wild, that take years and years to develop. But between those, you have these smaller games. You have your 1,000 Year Door remake, and you have Pikmin 4s that will sell a couple of million.
And just be and it'll make up the cost like almost instantly because games just any Nintendo game is automatically going to sell 1 million. Like even I think Princess Peach Showtime was like 1.5 now, 2 million, something like that.
Yeah,
like it's crazy. And that game was not regarded well. Didn't review super well. But
at this point, the Switch.
Who cares?
The Switch has the most. Or let's see, Nintendo has the most 1+ million seller titles with the Switch era. I think they have like 70+ games that have sold over 1 million.
It's crazy.
Which like trumps the second highest. I think like the DS was the second highest.
Yeah.
But you're right. Like anything that comes out on the Switch, for the most part, from Nintendo is a success. You have games like Another Code and things like Emio, which maybe didn't sell 1 million+, but
what's selling like 500,000 or whatever. Like
probably
pretty good
success for
that game. That game did not cost that much to make at all.
Right? Yeah, a visual novel with stagnant images. Like, it's not going to cost that much. But
maybe it was so good.
I still need to play it. Sorry, I still have your copy.
No, you're fine. Kellen earlier, he saw that I had Brothership. He's like, "Oh, you got Mario Brothership?" I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Is it 2-player?" And I said, "No, it's just a single player game." He's like, "What? But they're brothers. There's 2 of them. Why isn't it 2-player?" I'm like,
got a good point.
Go tell Nintendo. I don't know. But yeah,
that's a great point.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah. I mean, these companies are so different the way they operate, and Nintendo has just kind of been on top. And like you said, like we've criticized them for their pricing and stuff like that. Tears of the Kingdom is still the only $70 game at this point, like for MSRP pricing outside of like the weird whatever $100 editions of NBA 2K and stuff like that. But who knows if they're going to go 70 route and with the Switch 2. I also think games just don't sell as well because they're 70 now. Like you just don't see these huge hits anymore. And maybe that has something to do with it too on the PlayStation side of like why stuff isn't necessarily selling is because games just are so expensive.
Was Astrobot 70?
That was 60.
Okay.
So it's like, you know,
But like Dragon Age, that was 70.
70. But right now, I guarantee you on Amazon, it's like $25.
Yeah. I think Avowed is 70. Kingdom Come,
Yeah,
that was 70.
Yeah. And I don't mind paying 70 for those games because like you're going to get your money's worth, but I don't know. Sometimes 70 is a little bit too much for some types of games.
For something like, let's take Silent Hill 2, for example. Where it's a shorter experience. I mean, it's still well worth it.
Yeah.
But it's a tall ask for someone to just jump in blindly.
Yeah, if you're going to do that the old annoying like
cost per hour.
Per hour kind of thing. Yeah, is Silent Hill 2 worth $70? Probably not.
Well, not even cost per hour, but just taking a non-calculated risk on a game is.
Yeah, because games don't really have demos anymore. Like you don't really know. You can only. I mean, that's why reviews are still important. But yeah, it's just it's a harder ask to have someone jump from $59.99 to $69.99 and just take that risk. Like, oh yeah, I'm gonna buy it because it looks good.
I mean, Ubisoft they've always had problems with pricing, but
they've
now
they've ruined their brand with how fast their stuff goes on sale.
Yeah,
I mean they just kind of destroyed their branding. I mean that's the joke. I mean the game Ubisoft game comes out and whether it's good or not, it's going to be on sale in 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm. It'll have a deep discount Black Friday sale, or it'll have some other like Ubisoft wide sale a few weeks after release. I mean,
game comes out in February, and in April it's got the Black Friday sale. Like it's ridiculous. I mean, good for gamers. You can get those games for super cheap, but
but that's why their games underperform.
Yeah,
out the jump because people learn, like people aren't stupid. They'll wait.
Yeah,
and with Nintendo,
their games never and their games go on sale, but it's like a 20% discount. Like you'll
5 years later.
Yeah, 5 years later. So you'll pay $40 for Mario Odyssey. Like they never that game is not discounted at all. Like they never did, and they never discounted the Switch either, and they never did like their Nintendo Selects kind of thing. Maybe they should have. I don't know. I don't know. Year 8 into Mario, maybe they should have done a Nintendo Selects.
Well, I don't know, man, because they can continue to sell these games on the Switch too.
That's true. I mean, maybe they'll do that whenever. I'm assuming there's going to be a price reduction at some point for the base model Switch and the Lite. Maybe then they'll do some sort of like selects kind of thing for those games.
Yeah.
I think that makes sense.
Something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyways.
The show or the state of play. Anything that stood out?
I mean, there's like you said, there's a couple of those action RPG looking games, very similar to like Stellar Blade kind of vibes, where just need to see more. But that stuff looks really cool.
I mean, Lies of P.
Oh yeah, Lies of P. Yeah, I'm very excited for that. That looks really good.
Hell Is Us also looks really cool.
Looks cool.
Onimusha, that one looks great.
Yeah, never played one of those games, but we'll definitely give it a try.
Yeah. Yeah. Monster Hunter Wilds.
I did not see
continues
that.
to
be everywhere.
Sure.
Yeah. I mean, overall, I thought it was like a decent, presentation. It wasn't awful.
Yeah.
It just
nothing blew me away.
Yeah, nothing. And maybe I don't know. Maybe the showcase is where we'll actually get all the main PlayStation stuff. But yeah, it just a little bit of a letdown.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably like our fault, like, with the persistence thing and like, because they could have just inserted Bloodborne at any point in time during that presentation and be like, oh, this is the greatest presentation of all time, So it sucks when like one game is kind of a make or break thing, kind of with Hollow Knight. Like if Hollow Knight's not ever in any of these presentations, it's like, man, come on, like just where is this game at? But
yeah, Hollow Knight,
Metroid
Prime 4.
Yeah, it's the way of the world.
There's always something that people are wanting, and someone's gonna be let down. I know people were expecting Kingdom Hearts 4 as well, which like,
sure, I guess.
Yeah,
it's like it's still rumored to happen this week. The Nintendo Direct for the Switch 1. If they don't show Metroid Prime, Zelda, this and this, people are going to be mad.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
It's just like,
or if they end on something crummy, like Endless Ocean.
Oh, I mean, it's just the leak culture, right? You know what you should be expecting. So like, if that thing doesn't show up, then you get mad.
Mm-hmm.
Like I expect Prime 2 to get shadow dropped.
The bird and Jeff Grubb told me the Prime 2 is coming out tomorrow. Where is it?
That son of a bitch lied to me. Lied to me again.
Lied to me. You're dead to me. But I don't know. Yeah, we could begin Direct. I'm still be excited for that.
Yeah.
I mean, we talked about it to death. So yeah,
we'll see.
We'll see what happens. All right. Well, I think that is going to wrap up episode 252 of the Gaming with the Bros Cast podcast. We appreciate everyone watching live, or listening to the audio version. If you can review us on your favorite podcasting platform of choice, that would be awesome. Leave a 5-star review, but if you don't like us, just put that in the text. It's much appreciated.
We'll read it.
We'll read it. We'll read it on the show probably.
Yeah.
Follow us on all of our various social medias, TikTok, Twitter, all that good stuff. And I'm sure we'll be back with. Does any games come out this week? I hope not.
No.
We get reviews for Like a Dragon tomorrow, right? I think that drops.
I think so.
I need that to do well because I'm just not doing well right now. Yeah. Yeah, very, very much so.
Because I had Avowed as well, didn't I?
Yeah. So yeah, you're probably up in like the 30s right now.
Yeah.
So I need Yakuza to do.
You need to win.
Do good. Yeah, I need to win. But that doesn't come out this week, does it?
Let me see. I can tell you in 2 seconds. It comes out on the 21st. So is that this week?
It's Friday, right?
It's Friday, yeah.
Well, I'll probably be holding off on that one. I've got just way too much stuff to do now.
Yeah.
At the moment. Yeah, you're 82, then Kingdom Come was 89. So you're at 19. Well, Avowed hasn't counted for you yet. Okay.
But I'll be at about 31.
Negative 19.
Dang, and then I have Monster Hunter Wild, Split Fiction, and Assassin's Creed Shadows. And then you have Xenoblade Chronicles X.
Yep. South of Midnight, Clair Obscure, Doom.
Good stuff.
It's going to be an interesting year.
Yeah.
It's going to be an interesting year. All right, guys. Well, we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.